Welcome to VFX and Chill, the week of July 16th. The week of, meaning the day of, Friday, July 16th. As you can see, I'm Seth Worley, and as you can see, this is not Daniel Hashimoto. Hashi, this is our very good friend, the legendary Harry Frank. Harry, how are you today, sir?
I am excellent. Thanks for letting me crash your party.
The party arrived when you arrived, Harry. That's the honest truth. So today we are talking about a beloved film. Well, first off, tell people a little bit about yourself, Harry. What do you, just in case people have no idea who you are, in case people are idiots. I'm the host. I should be the one who tells everybody who you are. I did a bad job here.
It's difficult because I do a lot of different things, but I work on a couple different products. I work on Universe as a product manager and product developer, and then I work with the Trapcode team as well, doing content, some UI, UX stuff. So yeah, that's not really a title. That's just kind of a description of what I do. So I work on products mostly, make stuff better, make presets, stuff like that.
Yeah, basically all the really rad presets that are in Trapcode, particular, those are Harry. And
all the good ones. No,
all the good ones.
Actually, all the bad ones too, because I mean,
all the good ones and the bad ones. See, that's how wide your range is, Harry.
If there's a terrible preset, I did it. Yeah.
And also, Harry built, as we know, the VFX and Chill. Another name for it is the Ecto Show.
The Ecto Show, yeah.
And Harry built Ecto and made it what it is as one of the many Universe plugins that Harry built. And Electrify was you too, right?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it was Hashi's idea, and we made it. We built it from his
rules. So anyway, Harry also, he's got tons of tutorials you guys should watch if you haven't. And do you still have resources and templates and stuff on your personal site?
No, they got too outdated, and I just turned it into. So in short, no, my website is, yeah.
Well, I have them, and none of you can have them now. So, Harry, today we're talking about a film that's been remade, a classic film that's been remade, and we're talking about the remake. That's right, everyone. Come on and slam if you want to jam. We're talking about Space Jam. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to say hi, Michael. Hi, Michael. How's it going?
Oh, life is good. I'm always excited about talking about a film that has someone with the name Michael in it, because the original one did.
It did. Michael Johnson. That was the right one?
So close.
Okay.
Michael James.
That's right. James, okay. We'll come back to it. I'll figure this out. Michael, it's good to have you. The original MJ. Him. Not really. All right.
Okay.
The show's going great. They're never going to let me run this show without Hashi again. So, Space Jam. We have this movie, especially. I mean, Harry, you made the joke when we in our tech check that we're going to sit here and recreate shots that thousands of people worked on.
Yeah, probably 30 effects artists over months working too many hours, and we're going to be let's make it in an hour.
Which is welcome to hashtag VFX.
Well, 90 minutes or whatever,
or however long it takes. This is what it's become.
2 hours.
So we have a couple effects that we really liked from the trailer. One of them is this guy. Okay. And Harry, talk about what stood out to you about this shot, because we had a question in the chat, which is Space Jam has so many effects. Which one are we going to get? I could say this shot has so many effects. Which one are we going to recreate here?
Well, yeah, I was looking up stuff to do, and it was definitely this. What did I say? Or the Frasier reboot, visual effects from the Frasier reboot. But this one's good too. Yeah. Oh. There's just so much that jumps out that's achievable in particular, just just like the streaks and the explosions, and we've got like some volumetric lighting. We've got some like neon stroke kind of stuff that we can, tap into some other stuff in the Trapcode suite, like 3D stroke. It's one of those things like, oh yeah, sure, I can do that. And then as we dive into it, I'm sure we'll run into a lot of problems, but it's worth exploring, Yeah, well, we'll come across the decisions that they had to make as they were making this, like, how much detail you want to put into individual particles, or, there's like a little shockwave that kind of explodes out. Like if you go frame by frame, it kind of looks like they're just scaling up objects. Do you want to put that level of detail in there where it's kind of, there's stuff trailing off of it, or, like, we'll see what we see, right? Like,
it's
and
I love that big boom shockwave at the top. That's the one where I was like, oh, Harry's coming on the show. We should do that.
Boom.
Right there.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like we've, that looks like you could adjust one or two presets in particular and make it that little thing. Well, okay, so hang on. Let's keep it broad. I'm going to show them the shots we're going to do today, and then I actually want to come back to this and ask you some specific questions, and then we'll dive in. This other shot, it's technically two shots. We have, and this is Michael Johnson, or this is Michael. Which basketball sportsman is this one?
That is the king. That is the king, King James.
Yes, from the Bible. All right. Thank you, Michael, for giving us sports facts. All right, so I actually do know this is LeBron James, clearly. And because I know quite a lot about sports, especially basketball. I know how to hold a basketball. Well, we'll get to that. This one has form right there on the ball.
Yeah, that's we were talking about this earlier. Like, it might actually just be form on there, quite possibly. So, but it's got like some other like particle-y, like some squares, so it's almost like some techie kind of shapes. So it's a mix of kind of like organic and vector shapes. So that'll be interesting.
And the trails are really interesting to me, and
the trails are interesting because there's like 20 different ways to do this, and they're all going to have things that are not as good as the other 19 ways.
It's so true. Yeah.
Right. Like so we might just do a few different ways, actually, and figure out what is not good about this method versus another method, or where the shortcomings are that we find.
That's perfect. So let's start with stomp boom, stompy boom, step boom. What elements are we gonna start with? I'm gonna real quick. I just saw in your After Effects window. This is the element you're gonna be working with. I want to give them a little background. I shot some elements for this in my front yard. So if you live near me, you don't drive by my house at the right times. I wanted to get a clip of where I could be flying through the air, dunking, and even though I'm really good at that, and I do it all the time, I needed to be able to get in a controlled environment, so I just wrapped a green skirt around my waist and did the top part.
Oh, I thought those were pants. I was like, those pants?
If I had those pants, I'd be wearing those every day. God. That's what I want. That's what I want as like a company gift at Maxon. I want like a green suit.
Green screen pants. No, just the pants.
Just the pants. Green screen pants. Chrome pants.
Well, because like I'm just seeing like a small version of it, so it looks like they. I was thinking like the pot screen company like ships a 3 pair of pants with it.
Oh no, they have to be like suit pants. They've got to be like tailored.
Oh, nice, with a nice break on your ankle.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
So where your dressy green shoes hits just at the right place.
Exactly. So it then took that and stitched me together, flying across. And we can actually see a little bit of that here with this little transition to this other shot that I got for the close-up which is me in my natural state, which is just slamming
You're,
dunks into hoops and basketing the balls. And yeah. So anyway, Harry, I'm going
Basketing
over
the
to your After
balls.
Effects now.
Okay, so wait, okay. So which one are we doing?
Well, I figure why don't we start with the step boom, because I'd love to see
Yeah, okay.
what you want to do.
I got like nothing for this. I mean, that's I guess
And
the
that's
whole
the
point
perfect
here.
place to start.
I know. You know, to not fall flat on my face, like I did a little bit of like, you know, test this or test that, but not, you know, like there's definitely got to be a level of spontaneity to this. We'll just call this the stomp. And then we didn't really get a plate for this, right? So I noticed that there's one with you kind of holding the basketball behind your back, and then I stole another arm from
my
you.
arm naturally does.
I know. It becomes very difficult to figure out where an arm is supposed to go.
Give us that again, Michael.
Yeah, wait. I need a reference here.
But it's like the thumb. The thumb is in the wrong. So it's just.
I mean, I could close it together. I know. Mamma mia. Well, I figured there's going to be so much particle stuff going on. So, in fact, you can't really see my reference, can you? So I'm going to reference this. Here's the step boom. And so I'm not going to do the open, like we don't have a stomp. So we're just going to focus on this little shockwave where things explode. Oh, there's like little bits of stuff kind of shoot out. Shockwave. Wow, there's all kinds of stuff in here. So we'll get as far as we get. There's that little arrow that kind of points up, and then some particle trails, and then it goes up, and then it like flies into whatever that thing's called. What's that thing that's like hangs over the
thing that was a scoreboard, right?
The score. I mean, isn't there?
But I don't know what purpose it's serving in the Space Jam universe.
To keep the score. Well, so let's make a basic. I'm just gonna make a basic floor for now, and I don't know. We'll kind of come back and if I spell the word floor correctly, that's a good start. And we'll flatten this out. I mean, actually, you know what I could do? For now, I'm gonna enable. Of course, I don't have any 3D, so let's make a camera and make you 3D. There's Seth, and then now I can enable. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Icon with the new grid. All right. So this will just be. We'll kind of figure out the environment later. Like, you know, we're not here to make a floor and a crowd and whatnot. So we'll kind of backfill that.
But I mean, you could do that easily within minutes, right?
Oh yes, I can make a whole crowd, you know, and complex objects and stuff like that. So we're gonna have you kind of shoot up. We'll have some trails coming off of you. I'm talking to you like you're an actual thing. You're my layer here. All right. So I'm going to start. I'm actually going to jump over to Illustrator real quick. And we've got that arrow, which I think is just kind of an open. Yeah. Pause like in that first couple frames there. Or you could just loop it like that too.
Well, I could stop it. Let's see. I'm figuring out how to use how to do this. I could. Well, I don't know how to do what would help to do. So it's just going to play there as reference for people.
Yeah, no, I mean, if I bring in the footage, right, then people would be
just as a guide.
I mean, if you just moved it over his After Effects window, we would be done already.
Yeah, and
why are we doing all this work? Yeah,
boom. Harry, that looks so good. It's like perfect.
I know. It's like a team of Disney artists worked on it. All right, so I am talking about right here. So there's this arrow that kind of shoots up. And So I'm going to draw just the basic shape here in Illustrator. I think this is probably a pretty decent way of doing this. So use the pen tool and
That looks
It's funny we
anything.
can't see your Illustrator window.
Oh, you can't see the Illustrator because I didn't share that. Okay, well this is going to go super quick, and I'll just is there a way? Okay, can I do it?
You can switch over, so just don't stop.
Hang on, while you've got that pause, is that Space Ghost in the top left?
Yeah, I noticed
Yes,
that.
I
We got
caught him.
Space Ghost.
He's also in a couple other daytime shots. That made me very excited.
Space Ghost kind of got
Yeah.
a dad bod going on these days.
And a lot of these elements in this trailer are not fully animated, I've noticed. They're just like, a couple of them are like, you don't look too closely at it because it's a trailer, shot.
Yeah, based on the trailer I saw, there's like a kind of a Ready Player One element. What I know you're a huge Ready Player One fan.
Yeah, that's
Seth.
not part of VFX and Chill canon, but that's definitely part of Seth Worley and Red Giant canon.
Okay.
I
Okay, well, I'll
hated
just
Ready
draw
Player
this.
One and passed up the chance to pitch for directing it years ago. So anyway, back to
Imagine me drawing an arrow in the shape of that arrow that is in the thing.
So
'cause
what's
I'm in
interesting, though,
Illustrator
Harry,
doing
that.
that.
That arrow that we're referencing, there are arrows that look like it in all over the place, and like they're like, I feel like we've got sprites that look like that. We've got HUD sprites that look like that.
Close. Yeah, I mean it's kind of open ended, right? It's got this kind of here if I draw this kind of. I swear After Effects has an algorithm to automatically choose the worst possible color for the mask.
Yeah.
Because like it tries to match the background or something, like every time. Let's find something that's contrasting. There we go. So it's this kind of thing, if you kind of see. So it's got this sort of open-ended shape. The only reason I'm going into Illustrator is so that I can kind of fatten it up, and then I can easily round the corners. I probably could pull this off with shape layers, but this is really just a couple steps in Illustrator. So, yeah. Is there anything, Seth? You're just gonna watch me work? Like,
no, I guess I could work. I'm just really fascinated. like you're better at this than I am, so I do like just watching. I mean, that naturally is my stake as I do the show with Hashi. But, I mean, over here I've got these ridiculous elements, and you just let me know when you're done with Illustrator side of things.
I'm drawing I'm just rounding off the caps here.
One thing I noticed in the LeBron stuff, which I've obviously emulated perfectly, like it's pretty hard to tell the difference there, is that the LeBron stuff, let me see where
You're gonna be evaluating his basketball technique too.
Yeah. So there's like a very interesting like echo happening behind him of like freeze frames.
I noticed that in the comp, and I'm like, what? I thought it was a mistake, or I thought you had like multiple versions of it for some reason.
Oh,
and then
I guess it ended up in the comp that I sent you by accident. Sorry about that.
No. Well, it's correct because that's how it's got this weird echoey ghosting kind of thing, which is weird.
And it's not a prominent part of the effect. It's just one of those things that like helps sell it.
Either that or it's a mistake.
Yeah. Well, I tried a little bit to replicate the particles here, and I did just like you said. The trails. There's 40 different ways to do it, and each one of those ways lacks the other 30. Lacks things that the other 39.
Yeah.
I tried to do a layer emitter of me, and that became extra complicated because. So in my scene, I've got, this shot of me in my natural basketball state. And then I also have I have some pre-rotoed, like my torso, the ball, my arm.
Pre-rotoring is good. Can you show us these things you're talking about?
Oh, you can't see them? Oh my gosh.
We're on the LeBron loop there.
Oh my gosh. Can you believe it, guys? So, I've got my torso. I've got the ball. and I've got my arm. And that's so that as I start to apply stuff to the ball, I can have it pass behind the torso and behind the arm, etc. I started messing around with the trail stuff. So right now that's the only thing I've got going on for me. Now, to do a layer emitter, it's going to get a little tricky because I tracked this scene using just like 2D tracking. So I've got this scene null. Where is that null? It's like not even showing up. I've got a scene null, and I've got a oh, you know what? Hang on. Show layer controls. There we go. So there's my scene null up there, and then I've also got a flight null that actually exists like way off screen for some reason. It's over here, and it's just, and that's my like flight motion. So I am parented to the flight null, and the flight null is parented to the scene null. And that way I can, and the reason I have me parented to a null rather than the animation on top of me is so that I can, if I ever wanted to use a different part of the clip of this clip of mine, I can drag it up and down on the timeline. And also just have
so one of
control.
One of the challenges with this is like in reality, or well, yeah, I guess, I mean, he's actually moving like in the shot. In the actual either virtual and real space, he's moving a lot, right? But in your comp space, you've got a couple elements and things are scaled. So you want the stuff to appear as if it's coming off of a rapidly moving object, but you don't really have a rapidly moving object for it to come off of. So you have to kind of have everything kind of shoot backwards or use wind or a combination of those things.
And as well as the fact that because there's motion, I have to decide on the front end how I want, basically, my particles will move, but then they'll need to move in the scene space as well. And if they move in the scene space, I can't have the emitter be the thing that's moving, because then if I'm doing trails, the emitter will move and the particles will not move. So like, I had to decide, am I going to do that with world transform in particular? Am I going to do that so for example, like if I have a particular layer, Particular, like it matters. And by the way, at any point we can switch back over to you, Harry, to see how your thing's going. Oh my gosh, I'm going to switch back over to you. That looks really cool.
Oh, okay.
Okay, whatever.
Alrighty. This is actually good. So I drew the thing in Illustrator that you couldn't see, but that's what it looks like. So I just drew, point, and holding shift, kind of universal in Adobe products, right? It will constrain it to 90 degrees or 45 degrees, right? So drawing something like this is actually pretty easy. You just hold on shift and click. I don't know if you can see my mouse. I'm clicking in the points where the corners are. So click, and make a thing. Make a really large stroke with the corners rounded in Illustrator, and then just outline it. Just convert the whole thing to one big shape, and then I bring it over here. And then once I have it as a mask on a layer, I've applied 3D stroke, and I've applied universe glow just to mix things up. I know you guys are all about VFX glow. They're actually kind of similar, oddly.
What's the difference?
A little. That's an interesting question. We independently arrived at the same result, independent of each other, right? So like the VFX team and the engineer that works on that, and Stu's vision of what he wanted his sort of bloomy glow. The method that they tried a bunch of different things, and the method they landed on happened to be something I stumbled upon actually working on a different plugin to try to make a shadow plugin. And I used this accumulation method, and I was talking to Stu about it, and he's like, that's exactly what we use for the VFX. So they're similar, but different. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just promoting. I'm just promoting universe.
Yeah, as you should.
But,
The
one
point
thing,
is, we love optical glow, and if they're very similar but different, then we love
as I
universe
call it,
glow
VFX
as well.
glow. It's optical glow, VFX glow. One thing I learned from the original developer of the Trapcode products, and I don't know if he had a technical explanation, but when you're making a glow, your a better glow is going to result from a large distance between RGB. Like if you have close together values, things will get mushy. Here, let me move this back. Right, notice that I move this. I mean, green's kind of ugly anyway, but the glow itself, as I move that green away from the red, or as I move it back down closer to the blue, again, the glow kind of gets mushy. I don't know what there's probably a technical reason for it, but when you're picking a color, it's just the best to keep your RGB values kind of separated. Maybe somebody in the chat has something amazing explanation for why that is, or maybe it's just an observation. I don't know.
Maybe everyone in the chat is dead. So I've heard nothing from them so far. At least I've heard nothing from them.
They're still waking up. Actually, it looks like
the chat's actually been fairly active, but they're suggesting there's a couple different things. There are people asking for specific effects they want done, which I'm putting on the list for later episodes. And there's some who are suggesting ways to solve problems that you're going to be dealing with shortly.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. They're thinking ahead.
I will
appreciate
call
that.
attention to them once we get to that.
I'll also throw out, guys, if there's something you'd rather see being do, here's the thing. I'm going to try to do this silly shot here, but I'm going to fail very quickly. And if there's anything you'd rather see me do with this asset, I made this asset of me flying through the air. If you'd rather me do anything with it, throw some ideas in the chat there as well. I'm not promising that we'll do them, but if they're really good, I will derail the entire show and do it. So back to
I missed the live episode last week, but I caught it over the weekend, and that was actually quite a good episode of.
Man, last week was one of our favorite
all
that we've done.
That was you were kind of freestyling.
With the people, freestyling with the people, which was the pitch of the show originally.
Laying it down.
That looks really cool. What are you doing there to make that happen?
So I'm going. So 3D Stroke has this what is called the symmetric doubler, right? So it is. Whoops. Okay. So I can have. What all 3D Stroke is really doing is just drawing a series of particles on the spline of the mask. In fact, I can turn that off so we don't get distracted by that. So the resulting stroke, I can just double using the repeater. And these factors here for how much it is displaced for each repeater is like so. In fact, okay. So I'm going to set this to use a symmetric doubler and use one instance. So there's going to be one arrow in front and one behind. And then it looks like these are pretty close to, not that close. I don't know. Kind of, and this is also moving, I think. Scale, displace, no, it's all using this. Okay, never mind. You know what, I'm going to bring down the opacity for those instances, though. Keep bringing them down.
And you're doing this to create the parallax depth look of the. Oh, I see.
It's actually, in fact, looks like there's only two.
And you're doing this all in one layer. That's so smart. I would have doubled up. I would have duplicated this layer and unmulted it and everything. And what you're doing is really smart.
So I don't really even need. I don't need the extra layer, so I just need the one layer. And it's offset just a little bit, right that. Okay, we'll call that good. And we can tweak this a little bit, but that's fine. So it looks like it pops up and does a little bit of a bounce. And this is definitely not anything that I invented or wrote from scratch. I just somehow became sort of noted for distributing this expression, this sort of decaying exponential decay bounce kind of thing. And I'm going to need to find that expression. I might have it saved. So we'll move this in. So I'm going to animate the transform. We gotta move on this, don't we? Transform. So I'm just going to animate the position in quite quickly. And then what we'll do is I'll apply an expression to that XY position. Somehow I have to make it appear out of the floor. What do they do to get this to? Or is there just so much nonsense going on that you can't really... Yeah, just kind of... it looks like they kind of mask it out or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's just so much particle business.
Particle business. Man, I wish I had a drop right there with a song.
Particle business.
Or we all prepped some like 3-part harmonies and just went right into particle business. The song.
Particle business. Okay, so that kind of floats in. And I'll do like a 20 frame kind of pop in. And then we'll put a little wobble on there. So we'll add expression to the XY, and then, God, what are the odds I have this on here? Apply animation preset, and then, no, it doesn't look like I have it. Wait. Dropbox, all where my stuff is. Workflow sync. That's where I throw everything that I want available everywhere. And of course, do I not have it in there? Oh, I do. Inertial bounce. Woo-hoo, look at that. There it is.
So you can drop that in there on that position and 30 stroke, XY position. And amplitude, frequency, decay, that's in seconds?
Yes. Yep. So
where can people find this expression, by the way?
You know, I still
have the link is in the chat, Seth.
Michael, God,
Michael's
I always
all
forget
about
you
this.
Do your job so well.
Did he pop up? Michael's like this, Zombie from remember Pee-wee's Playhouse, and somebody'd be like, "Oh, I sure wish I had some cowboy boots," and then like Zombie would like pop up and be like, "Cowboy boots," and then he would make it happen.
How did we never connect Michael with Zombie?
Yeah, he's like in this little box, and then and you're all like, "I sure wish I knew more about subdivision surfaces," and then like Michael pops in.
I mean, they are very
subdivision
but this is not a 3D show today.
No, we do not need any subdivision.
This is a trap code show today.
Trap code show.
Particle business. All right.
So while you do that, I am going to switch over to me because I need some advice and help. Sure. I want to... I love how these streaks look. They're awesome. And I am convinced that doing... so I could do an instance of particular, but I would have to I'd have to do some pre-emission stuff to make it for 4 or 5 seconds.
Already there.
Yeah, to get the trails already there. They're sitting nicely in the air though, is the thing. So let me see. Oh, I freeze framed.
I'm really glad you
wants you to use Saber for those trails because you can decrease the size of the end, so you have like a nice decreasing.
You can taper it. Yeah. I don't know if I have Saber installed, unfortunately. So
now you can use Ecto and then use Bezier warp on Ecto, which is some way you would get. You could actually do a lot of flowing lighting effect, lighting or lightning, both effects with that. I remember a very old. If you want to switch to me, because I'm going to do hand gestures for this next bit.
Yeah.
I remember a very old tutorial on Creative Cow way back in the day where they took a bunch of just splotches of color, moved them across the screen with motion blur to get streaks of light, and then used Bezier warp to make that streak of light move around. So you can create something pretty static with maybe a tiny bit of flowing, and then use Bezier warp or mesh warp or some of the other distortion tools in After Effects to make it take the shape and path that you want. So you could use Ecto, Bezier warp to taper it, curve it, and do whatever you wanted.
That's smart, and that's close in line with what I was thinking of doing. Because I was thinking of somehow generating lines like this, whatever would give me like the most stylized like swoops like this, and then doing something like that either with some turbulence and or so like I'm looking at this and there is a flow of like opacity.
Well, turbulence is
or
good because you can
turbulence.
pin an edge of it as well.
Oh yeah. So I just need to start by drawing these lines, I suppose. Like, should I just draw lines, or should I is there something I should use to generate like a block of horizontal sweeps?
I mean, 3D stroke can give you a block of sweeps, and it can taper ends as well.
What is isn't there no wait, that's not the right thing. So let's see. I could draw this, but I feel like we have a generator or something that can do this. Harry, can you think of anything on top of your head?
Generator to make a bunch of lines kind of thing?
Yeah, to make something like that I can affect it and bring it to look like this, but something that would be a good starter.
What about like form strings?
Is there something even more lo-fi than that?
I mean, you could do fractal noise and kind of crush it and scale the.
Yeah, how'd that look?
Scale it out in X and like stretch it out, like huge stretch along X, and low complexity, so you're not getting a lot of additional noise in there, and you're just getting like that one layer of noise.
All right, let's lower that complexity.
Harry, do you know how the name Trapcode came to existence? People are asking.
You know, Peter Norby went through the story once. It wasn't a terribly exciting story. He was just kind of this young, coder dialing into like early forums and stuff like that. And that was just kind of like his moniker, right? Like he would, you got to pick something. So it was just those two words together. I forget where the trap came from. I think it's something with coding, right? Like there's a coding, testing, debugging, something like that. It's just like a couple words that he plucked that he thought worked well together. I wish I had a better story than that, but I think that's often how names come to be, right? Just it sounded cool.
Yep.
Basically, and the URL was available.
That was back in the day when you could still like name products and usernames like random cool things rather than what they are. Nowadays, you have to name it exactly what it is.
In plain English.
So this is promising. I just crushed some fractal noise, like you said, and I animated the offset turbulence.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe even, yeah, maybe even more in the X. And is what's the complexity right now?
Complexity is at 1. Can I go lower than
1?
one?
Okay. No. You have to have at least one layer of noise for it.
At least one complexion.
One complexion.
That was my boy band when I was in high school. One complexion.
One complexion.
Was the complexion pizza?
Yes, the complexion was pizza. Sounds like a weird code.
Harry Frank, while we're on the topic of where names came from, how about that gray machine?
We were just talking about how, like it's a combination of things that sound cool, and the URL was available. It's kind of that, but actually the initial start of that term, like where I'm like, well, I need a website to do stuff. It was actually, I was starting out as a recording studio, because that kind of was where I got my start. Well, that's the industry I started in. And I found myself freelance by way of the place that I was working basically closed down. And I was like, well, let's see if we can launch a recording studio, because I had some money and not a lot. I had a lot of time. So I was in Detroit at the time. So I was just trying to capture the sort of like gritty workhorse kind of feel of not very flashy but very functional, and that's just kind of how it started, I guess. There's a band that I was very much into at the time, also called Secret Machines. So I think that had some influence on me.
Is that what the other band was so angry about and raging against?
Secret Machines, they call themselves space rock, although they took a hiatus for a very long time, as one of the members, actually there were two brothers, and one of the brothers passed away. Oh. They took a hiatus, and they actually just put out an album in the last year.
And since we've got historical knowledge here, Red Giant.
Where the name came from?
Yeah.
I think that was Drew and Sean just come up with random cool things.
Yeah. You know what's funny is, I mean,
I know it's a type of it's a stage in the life of a star. It starts the White Dwarf, goes to Red Giant, blah blah, which is why we did that April Fool's joke about Red Giant is collapsing and becoming black hole.
Yeah. The original company name before it was Red Giant was actually Redshift LLC. It was Redshift, right? They must have run into issues, as there are some other companies also named Redshift. You might have heard of some.
It turns out there are.
Yeah. So I think they just kind of. Boy, I'm spinning my wheels here. I was just trying to make. I was just trying to steal the camera move. What did I do? Oh, I'm looking at the left view. Gosh. So yeah, that was basically it. So I think they just wanted to go with that sort of spacey kind of thing. And in fact, it wasn't even that the URL was available, because for the longest time it was redgiantsoftware.com. I still get emails to redgiantsoftware.com.
So how's it going over on your end, Harry? I've been actually...
Yeah, I need to start making some particle business here. I was just getting that. I kind of matched I jumped over to the shot here and enabled my grid and just kind of did a basic, couple of keyframes to mimic the camera move that they've got in there. So I've got a camera move, because we need a camera move. And then I'm going to pick a thing. Let's just pick a thing. Oops. To do here, another thing. Let's start with, I think these streaks. There's these little streaks that shoot out here. And are these just kind of shooting? Yeah, that should be pretty straightforward.
The diagonal ones, the ones that are like fireworks?
Yeah, the kind of the trail, the little tracers there. So let's do that, because we need to cover up this transition. Oh, and then, I've got my little bounce on the arrow. So that kind of comes in. I think I told you, both you and Seth and Michael, I normally have a faster computer that I work on, but because I'm using kind of this, top secret version of Particular, and I went to reinstall it last night, and with your render engines and components kind of get installed everywhere, I could not get Particular to work. And this was 12:30 last night. I'm like, oh my god, I can't get this to work at all. It's uninstalling, reinstalling, and fortunately on my Mac Pro here, it was still working. So yeah, we got a little bounce in there. It's got the exponential decay. All the exponential decay really does is look at the overall speed of the thing that you've applied it to one frame before a keyframe. And then from there, it triggers a sine wave times an exponential decay value. So as you multiply an exponential decay and a sine wave, it just does that sort of wobble. And that triggers that right at the keyframe, the last keyframe, basically. Well, actually, I guess it's continuously applying it, but as it comes to a stop, we'll see that sort of wobble in there. So let's make some explodies and particular streaks. And particular track code particular. How many times I've applied particular to a layer. First used it in 2007 when I was working at WDIV in Detroit, NBC affiliate. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Look at that organic, what's it, the organic lines, the one that everybody uses on everything.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that one.
Because it's like the
one
that's
that
in,
was like
in
Quantum
the Bond
Solace
movie.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, Skyfall. It was in the good Bond movie.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to make a second camera here just so I'm not dealing with that camera move while I work on things. And then I'm going to hop into the designer and let's make an explosion. In fact, I think I might be able to apply some stuff that uses some of my planning here. So in the presets, there's some like basic starting points here, like just basic explosions without a whole lot of like actual particle design. That's actually pretty close. I think we're just seeing that top there, so I can probably, no, I don't want to delete that. So we'll make that instead of a uniform emitter, we'll just change that to a directional emitter, so it's kind of just shooting upward. Boom. So this is, oh gosh, you guys are right on top of my, okay, I'm going to scooch you over. There we go. And we want some explosion. We want a directional emitter. And is it going? Yeah, I want it to go up. So probably negative 80. This is pulling it. Nope.
Minus 90.
I want it to shoot straight up. Yeah, hold. Now I've got gravity working against me. Oh yeah, so my gravity. Okay, I'm gonna reset gravity for now. That's the. Yeah, and it's got a really high velocity. So let's. Well, so much for using that preset. It was close. So I want it to shoot outward. I want to have it spread quite a bit, so I'm turning up the directional spread. So I just want it shooting in kind of like a hemispherical direction. So I don't know why one random little particle is shooting off there. There, all you gotta do is change the random seed. There we go. So it's kind of going like that. So let's just crank up the velocity. Probably even more than that. I'm doing that thing. I hate when people do that. The sound effects when you make stuff.
Oh, it's better than what I do. I'm like, moving this over here, doing this thing.
Oh yeah.
Here. Optical glow. It's time. And I do that while teaching class on Zoom. Like a college class, I will do that. Like they are paying money for me to teach them how to do things, and I'm just singing to them that
Singing
I'm opening
montage.
my Finder window.
80s montage songs.
Yeah.
There was a composer that did that. He was like the 80s montage composer, like the Karate Kid.
Oh wow.
You're the best song.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. He would do this.
Yeah. He was like, we were like, oh, we need an 80s montage song. Call what's his face.
Oh, but I thought you meant like he would do that, like he was known in the studio to sing his process aloud in his style.
Well, maybe he did. Maybe that's how he came to be the montage writer. It's like, you should just do what you love. Find a way to get paid to do what you love. You like doing montages, so.
Speaking of different montages, this has nothing to do with different montages. Oh, Michael, you're still on screen. Bye.
We all been staring at Michael all this time.
I need so I've got this. This looks kind of cool. I need it looks ridiculous what it does. It looks like I'm farting my way across the sky. But I need
Maybe you are.
what kind of I have ideas on what kind of stuff I can go do now, but I need to curve this like that. And that's a simple thing that like I feel like the only ways I know how to do it are way too complex.
Just curve it down, like it's like gravity pulling.
Like I need to bend it.
How about literally? There's a plugin called Bend It, CC Bend It.
Listen, I didn't set you up for that.
I know.
It's like, God, I need to just.
Did you try typing
something particular
in the search?
Here.
Yeah, I have a particular need for something.
Oh my God.
Seth, the chat wants to know how they could sign up to join your college classes.
Oh, great question. You're in it right now. This is literally the experience they get.
Gonna sign up. That's college class.
College. All you have to do is just text me. No. I've thought about doing. I would actually love
Professor
to know
Worley.
if I did like a masterclass kind of thing at some point. Well, yeah, whatever. I've considered it, but I keep falling off it because it's kind of my full-time job to teach stuff. Let's see.
All right. So
The answer basically is attend whatever college you're a professor at.
Yes, I'm an adjunct professor at Lipscomb University right now, and I am teaching an undergrad VFX class this next semester that I believe is already full. So if you were planning on applying to this college last minute, I don't know how colleges work. I went to a little bit of college. Something's happening here. This bend it. I need to put this on top of a layer, don't I? So this is where it starts to get confusing. It's like what effects understand masks and what don't. So what I'm going to do is I've got this going.
Boy, I need kind of a background plate, don't I?
I'm going to pre-comp this because why not? And I didn't name that pre-comp.
The chat is making many suggestions, including Bezier warp, CC bendit, puppet pin, mesh warp, and wave.
So puppet pin is how I would have. I've thought about doing it, but that felt incredibly stupid. But you know what? Why not? Why don't
Not that you're calling somebody's suggestion stupid.
No. It's because it's what I thought of first. So therefore, it is incredibly stupid. It's a stupid thing to do. But here I go. Puppet pin.
Again.
Puppet pin. And I'm just gonna do. This feels so stupid. All right, here we go. I'm gonna pin this.
If it looks right, it's not wrong.
If it looks right, you might have still broken it. And pinned. Oh God.
I think that's something like you see so many questions in Discord and forums, and well, do people use forums anymore? Not really. But it's like, if I do it this way, is that right? And it's like, if it looks right, it's right. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, and that's how I operate. But I'm on a live show right now, so it's a little more.
So you need the quickest way of getting it done.
Yeah, I think that's more what it is. Is like, I don't know. All right, so let's see. I just did this number. Something's happening there. Oh, I know what's happening there.
Seth, the chat is complaining about your negativity. They say that we need positive self-talk in a stream and that you should believe in your dreams.
These people are new to the Seth Worley brand, aren't they? You know what? You're right. I'm going to accept that these people are tuning in to see me do some After Effects and next to someone who's good at After Effects. And so that's the brand here. So I'm going to accept that. And I'm After Effects. I'm comp talking or whatever we decided the term was, where you're like half paying attention to what you're saying while you're paying more attention to what you're doing. And hang on a second. I need to do this to avoid that issue.
Are you listening to reply or are you listening to understand? That was in a book I was just reading. There's levels of listening.
Oh, listening in order to reply. I was like, listening to reply. Yeah. Like,
well, because some people listen in order to just get to the yeah.
For the
to
record,
reply
Seth,
to.
I do like the look of your streaks. I think you're hitting in a good way. I think some displacement or turbulent something would be good there. I don't think just turbulent noise is what you need. That you need something that also does blurring, which I think you might just do in super comp. Use a fractal noise layer.
I'll do that for sure in super comp, like, and do some blurring in the background and some actual noise from it. I think I might need to layer some of this on top of itself because there's just a bunch of cool junk happening.
Okay. Pardon me. I have to like reply to the director of engineering of Maxon because
Harry's in trouble.
Yeah, no.
Did we get you in trouble?
No.
Good.
So like, take a number. Engineering director.
You're on the internet live saying that. So, just
no, he's a good guy.
Someone in chat is asking how we reckon they did it in the actual movie, and the answer is they could have also done. We were pretty sure they used form on the ball. This could also be particular or fractal noise, and we don't know.
We know that like Disney is a client, but I think most of the Disney stuff is like used in their parks and for events and stuff like that. I don't know how much they're actually using it in feature films, but it's quite possible. I mean, that ball to me looks spot on. Like the fractally kind of thing around the ball looks exactly like form. So it's quite possible, but who knows? Like I said, there's probably 30 people that worked on these. Well, probably fewer than that. Well, maybe, who knows? Between the comping and scene assembly and all that kind of stuff. Who are we on? We're still on Seth. Okay.
I can go over to you. Let's go over to you.
I don't have anything. Well, I'm noticing that we don't really have a backdrop, so I'm just using the same backdrop that you have given me, and then I don't know if I can just
do yours on black because I think that one is a darker scene.
Yeah, it needs to go over something because the particles kind of need to blend in.
Oh yeah.
But this just lowering the exposure
down or something, or
exposure's not going to cut it. Or maybe a mix of the two.
Wow, my effect actually doesn't look as bad as I thought it was going to. I need to listen to people in the chat more often. Did they hear that? Did they hear me say that? Let's see.
Okay. All right. We're 1 hour in, and we've successfully made 2 elements. So I've got the explosion and the arrow, poof, like that, and it looks like there's like some little particle-y bits. Now, what's funny, we might have a very interesting discovery here, or not. Who knows? We have in there. Okay, so let's make another system. In fact, we've got this one that looks like. Oh, I turned the lead particles all the way down to 0, just because we don't need to see them. But that's what they look like. So I'm actually going to take that system, duplicate it. So we've got another set of explodey bits here. So turn that up. And let me change the random seed so this is not in the same space as that first one, because it looks like there's just some like little debris bits shooting off. And if I'm in the wrong place, and I need a preset. I need a sprite. And so let's change this to a sprite particle. And then if I choose a sprite, let's see, in the water, is that showing up? Okay, because we've got modal dialog on top of a modal dialog here. So yeah, great if we had search in here. There's a section, not the organic matter, not the symbols. Of course, it's the last section. Isn't there one that is water?
Water.
I'd like to get to updating these. Okay, yeah, ice flick. Here it is. I was watching some hockey promo once, and I saw these little like bits floating around. I'm like, oh, that looks cool. We should have something like that. I need to unmult the individual particles, and we want these to not face the camera, so I'll uncheck that. So these will all shoot in random directions. Let's go size rotation. Just random rotation. And they look kind of glowy. Here, well, I'm just going to get that far. And let's go back to what I was like, you know, because I made these shapes. Like, these shapes look very similar to the...
Almost like they...
But you know what? You know, I think it's just coincidence, because these look like they are... They look like they're curved and are more 3D, I think.
Yeah, sure.
So, not saying... I mean, that'd be great if Disney was using our stuff. But close enough. Close enough for a YouTube show. So I probably need fewer of these. By the way, this explosion behavior is eventually going to change from this particles per second math that you have to do from like, it's particles per second over one frame, so you have to do the math to figure out how many particles you actually end up with. Oh, and I need to not have a random loop, but I need to use a random still frame because it's a quick time, so it's going to, yeah, there we go. And then we'll have it kind of rotate degrees per second. That was a nice thing that we added in the last one, because it was like revolutions per second or something like that. So you would turn it up a little bit and these things would just go,
oh yeah, they just go crazy,
spinning like crazy. Yeah. So there, that's a little bit more manageable. And then, are these tinted, or should they be tinted? Were you kind of kid when you were like using a coloring book and you would like look at the front cover to make sure that you would get the colors right?
No.
And everybody would be like, no, you don't have to make it look. And I'm like, I have to make it look like the color of like the front cover. So
that's what I'm like
exactly
now as an adult. As a kid, I was like, this is going to be whatever I want to color it. It's going to be silly.
Batman's
and then
purple.
It'd be ugly, and I'd be mad at myself.
Should have made it look like the cover.
Yep.
It looks like there's like some sort of glow or something on it. I'm going to pull in a little bit of tint, so these aren't totally white, but I don't feel like these are really a solid color. Do we? Oh, we don't have it in this version. We do. Don't. Okay. Never mind then. I can't randomize the color. All right. Singing montage. All right. So I'm trying to look at all the stuff I can kind of combine into one. Well, I didn't even notice there's like a weird grid that happens around who that other basketball player is, if somebody I'm supposed to recognize. Those things all shoot
is that
out.
Basketball player?
Yeah. I don't know.
No, wait. Is that a real person? Or I think that's one of the goons. They have the goon squad.
Well, it's going to be you. It's going to be the Seth Goon in
Seth
there.
Goon.
Is there anything else? Other than that, it's like some geometric stuff that I need to...
Hey, Harry. I've got a question for you about Electrify. So I'm over here playing with these, and I decided to drop Electrify on top of here, and there's a few frames where it looks really cool because the blue pops off of the pink really nicely. Hang on, where is it? It happens like...
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward. Oh, you know what? Sorry, it's because I have it here. I'm curious how to get more... Where do I go to get more
or less.
This happening more often?
My guess is what it's doing is automatically cycling, right?
Yeah.
So if you set the whatever I think it's the evolution, right? Like if you just set that to 0 and then manually offset it to that spot that you like, and then you can just like slowly animate it through that section.
Oh, great. So
That makes sense, right?
evolution speed down and then animate the offset. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So move the offset until hopefully should hit that section that you're wanting, because it's sweeping through the luminance. It's exactly like Colorama. It's a RGB wrap that it just
What's
pushes
the what?
the luminance.
So what's 100 on this scale? Is it relative to the timeline?
The offset?
Yeah. Is it relative to the timeline?
It's probably frames, I'm guessing.
Okay.
But that's a good question. It's 100 because that's the default when I add a slider in Universe. Okay, so let's make some magic here. So this was are we on me? Now we're on you. Now we're on, there we go. So we've got these like shockwave things here. And I'm trying to see if they really change over time or not. Or I wonder. So you know what I'm going to do? We'll just make some custom stuff, custom particle like that, and we'll include it with this setup right here. So everything's just kind of coexisting in the same 3D space. So I need to make a custom particle that is that kind of curved shockwave boom. So we'll call this the shockwave boom particle. This probably could be square. I'm going to say maybe 900 by 900. And then make a solid, and then what's the quickest, easiest way to make a really accurate arc in After Effects?
Really accurate arc.
Oh, I'm starting with a circle and then making it. I guess I can't Okay. Wait, can I just delete a point? Yeah, no. Wait, and then can I say, why can't I make it unclosed? Okay. I'm sure let's let the chat catch up. And then I'll just draw a stupid arc, and then somebody's going to come and be like, hey, dummy, you got to do this thing. I'm going to draw a tangent like that. Tangent like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be a perfect arc. It's just
you only need 2 tangents. That middle one is unnecessary.
Fine.
Yeah, Michael has this habit of just chiming in with right things every now and then.
Making you feel bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, it's just you can use as many as you want. It's just it's just fewer things to try to adjust.
Okay. And then what am I doing here? So I'm going to let's use. You know what? We're gonna do particular inception here. So I'm gonna use particular. So I'm gonna add, I think, more detail to this than they've got on there. It doesn't look like it's animating that much, but I'm gonna use particular to render from that stroke and kind of evolve and shoot off of the spline. And you keep talking while.
I want to know what this is. What is this? I get these random frames where.
Are you still having problems with Electrify?
No, I took Electrify off. I got this random where this happens. What is that? It happens on one frame. It's like do bye.
I don't know.
Is it optical glow? Is it heat wave? It's just a cache thing, I guess. Oh well.
It could be a. I don't know.
probably my.
I'm also seeing it 200 pixels by 100 pixels or whatever is it the.
Oh, that's what I'm rendering it. Is that not what you're finalizing it?
We'll just upscale it when we're done. So I'm going to use a text/mask and define the text/mask layer, which is hard to say. And I should name my layers. And we'll use a layer called mask instead of black solid one. The layer must be 3D. Okay, layer is now 3D. And I think I have to reset this. Set this now to the mask. And what else do I need? I need to emit from the edges because it's an open spline. There we go. So now we're emitting. Let's turn up the particles per second. And boy, I don't remember if in this build in particular, if the mask comes over. It does not come over. So never know. So we'll be working outside the designer. So we'll have this shoot not uniformly. We'll also have this one shoot directional with a very narrow direction spread, and then rotate this that way, right? What do I need? Negative.
Oh, Harry, I'm liking this.
Yeah, so it's going to kind of evolve. So there's a lot of stuff we can do to have this evolve, and then we can make this a particle in our other system, right? So, in fact, I can't have this. Okay, keep thinking of stuff that's not here. It would be nice if I could align this to a grid, but I guess random like this is also okay. I think. We'll have the particle kind of scale down over time. So size over life, we'll set the preset to open that up so you can actually see it. Using the scale down, and always add a little bit of life random. Because everybody's life needs a little bit of randomness.
I just go through and add random on everything.
Size random, though, can add kind of like a noise component to your stuff.
Yeah, especially if you're doing like streaks, then it creates a noisiness, which for a long time that's how but honestly, I got to know particular so well before I ever learned what displacement maps were. And
that's how you got your job.
I got my job by learning how to use particular. The same year I learned how to use After Effects. 1 year later I got my job here. And then I had to learn how to use After Effects. And it was like a couple years into my job here that I learned what displacement maps, how they actually worked, and realized, oh my God, all these things I've been doing in particular have just been me manipulating. I could have easily done, like I would create instances of particular when I could have just made a solid and thrown a displacement map on it or noise on it.
Well, that's just learning, right?
Yeah.
You know?
I do know. Very much
do know. All right. Let's see if we can just do this kind of simply, like having the turbulence affect the size rather than getting fancy. And maybe we'll just kind of end up blurring this. I do feel like the particle life needs to be a lot shorter to kind of make this line less thick. Oh, too many parameters. It's here. No, not size. Life. Okay. 0.1. Yeah, I wonder. Rather than, okay, I might pivot a little bit here. Rather than this kind of noisy look, I wonder if I zero out the velocity and make this a parent emitter, which means I need to jump into the designer, which means we're not going to see the emitter. So I might need to kind of switch this back to a box emitter for now. And I'm just going to build the look of this real quick here. Okay, well, look at all this nonsense. Okay, so my idea here is one not moving system. So we can zero out this velocity, set this emitter size, just kind of for now, very small. Yep. So in fact, yeah, we'll do this. We'll do explode and set this to a very high particle count. So we just got like blop, like a bunch of particles, and those will be apparent, or we'll make a child emitter off of that. So emit from parent. And then these will go directional. And I rotate that always the wrong way, every single time, right? Is it negative 180? Right? No, negative 90, sorry. Because it's always pointing away from the camera. So I just want them kind of shooting to the left. And I have a huge amount of, what's it called? Fast physics in this one. So I'm going to set that to 0. I'll go down here, and then we'll add fast physics. Nice thing. I don't know if everybody knows, Alt Option, clicking on any of these will add a default block rather than forcing you to use a preset. Like if you click on the plus.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Use a preset that you probably don't need. Yeah, just Alt click on the block.
Alt click. Well, there you
go. Alt Option click. There we go.
Harry, if you could talk through a little bit more what you're thinking of instead of narrating what you're doing, like you talk about why you're doing what you're doing. The chat is getting a little confused what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I know, because I have to. Here, this will make sense in just a second. Sorry. What the heck is he doing? So I had to switch away from using the mask. Oh God, what's going on now? So my idea is that I want these particles on the mask, right? So I just want one burst of particles on the mask, and then I want those to be parent particles to child particles that are sort of drifting off of those particles, if that makes any more sense. The problem is that right now in this version in particular, the mask does not import into the designer, so I can't see those particles. So that's why I had to change to a box emitter to fix it. So now I'm going to switch back to there we go. Okay, now this should be working. So system 2 should be I think I reassigned the wrong one. So this is going to be emitting from parent. So now these should be there. Now it's doing what I was trying to do. So I was trying to get that sort of shock-wavy, fractally coming off of this arc shape kind of thing. Sorry, I know we kind of drifted into oblivion there for a second, but there was a plan.
Yeah, that's what we do.
I'm also trying
to be fair, chat, he's making a much more interesting and organic looking shockwave than the reference has. Like
I'm making it better than Disney. So take that, Disney. All right. So what is the color? Color is blue. Easy enough. Let's make blue particle. System 2 is that shockwave, and then we'll go to the particle settings. I'm happy to be the first person that's hosting this that makes people chime in to say, what in the hell is he doing right now?
No. You're
not the first, and you won't be the last.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely won't be the last.
Where is he going with this? Is he just moving his mouse around on the screen to ride out the hour and then be like, well, tune in when we get this done?
That's fine. Let's see.
I'm going to set this to use a little less influence on the size and maybe a little bit more fractal influence on the position. Just kind of getting that. There. I mean, we've got an hour and we're one person, and I'm going to kind of punt with this right now. I'm going to, let's see. That should be affecting it. Particle life. Okay, I'm going to put this in as the particle, and then we'll refine as needed. Okay, so we'll go to my stomp here, and then need my shockwave boom particle, and then in particular, we're going to add another system that is using, let's just duplicate this one. We've got another set of particles. That's probably going to be a lot fewer of them. And we will set that system to use as a particle, a custom particle. So particle system 4. Yes, we're going to use a sprite. We're going to use the layer that is the shockwave boom particle. It's not that big. Hold on. I mean,
That's looking great.
Cross your fingers. Because it gave me a really weird error. It wasn't that big at all. Okay. All right. God. It was like, your comp is like 11 billion by 11 billion. Do you want to proceed? But it is not 11 billion. So let's go back here. Okay, so I need to, you know what I'm going to do is go back into the designer, and I'm going to work with the motion of this particle first before we get too far. So I'm going to switch this back to just a regular old sphere, and we want these just kind of shooting straight out. I think for what we want here, a disk, because a disk emits only in 2 axes, right? Yeah, so these are going to be big, right? So it's kind of shooting along the floor, but if I change these to the big shock waves, then we're just going to see, well, we're going to see those big shock waves at that center point. And then I'll probably need to orient them correctly along the axis. So let's go back, and I'm going to change the particle type back to the shockwave boom. So particle, set you back to a sprite. In fact, it should just change to that shockwave. Yep, okay. And they're all like random rotation. We don't want any of that. We want to zero all that out and then have it orient along the motion. Obviously, we want these a lot bigger. Oh, yeah, 3. Come on, computer. It's, in fact, how long did I make that? That's only 2 seconds. That's not too bad. It suddenly erased my particular layer. Okay, let's undo that. I don't know how I did that. There we go. God. Okay. We're using the sprite. The sprite should be set to the shockwave layer. The size is 3. We don't want 3. We want something more like 300. I don't want any size random because it looks like they're all the same size, and I want to orient this along the motion. Turn that up to 100%, so it's going to move along the path of its movement. I'm going to solo that layer. And I'm wondering why they look all dumb. Why do they look all dumb? They're shooting outward. I don't have any additional rotation on them. I don't have, oh, I have random rotation. Okay. Too many parameters. Okay, so at some point, these should all, there we go. They should all align kind of in the same direction. And it looks like we probably need fewer particles here, but let's drop this by quite a bit. Let's say like 200.
My After Effects just crashed, so
no.
and I literally was just getting it looking great. I was very excited to show it to you guys.
Seth,
did you
forget
save?
to hit save again?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let's find out if After Effects saved it, because I definitely did not hit save recently.
Okay. Whew.
Oh, hey, well, never mind.
Oh, I soloed. Sorry. I was like, why does this look even worse than it did before? Because I have not everything running. Okay. Man, okay. I mean, this is getting there. You can see kind of where we're going with this. This is really tough to pull off in like an hour. Let's just kind of jump into speed mode here. And I've got my Seth jump here. And what do? Do I just set you to like a screen blend mode so you're just kind of mixing in with everything? Or do I just put you behind? I'll put you, yeah, there we go.
You can do that.
Okay. I'm not gonna, I know these shockwaves still need kind of a bit of work. I think it was an interesting topic to cover, but I think they need to be bigger, and maybe I'll just make them a little bit bigger for now, and then we'll kind of move on, and if I've got time, I can go back and tweak these. So what system are we on? We are on system 4. We want to go to particle size. Why is the particle size set to 0? Particle size is system 4. Size. What the heck is going on? It's definitely not 0. System 4 is the shockwave, right? Yeah, if I turn that on and off. Okay, well, you're set to 0. I never set that to 0.
Seth, Patrick Adkins from the chat is asking how much it costs to license the Joe Esposito song "You're the Best" that Harry
Joe
just referenced earlier,
Esposito,
because he wants to license that song to play during Seth's slam dunk.
Oh my God! I was
looking. Could pass the hat around.
I am in. Sorry, I was being an idiot and I was looking at the wrong size parameter.
Also, Hashi has chimed in on chat. He says, "This looks insane. Wish I could join you live, but we're driving through Wyoming where they don't allow visual effects."
They don't. This is one of the shame things about Wyoming. It's one of the reasons why Hashi can't be on the show. It's because he went to Wyoming. We just alienated all of Wyoming.
Wyoming's great.
All 3 visual effects artists in Wyoming are pissed now.
Well, get over it, guys. Girls. Okay. Whoever you are.
Eat your cheese curds and be happy.
Can that be the name of the
episode?
The episode. Okay, I keep saying that that I'm done with this shockwave. I'm just not happy. You know what I think is going to tie this a little bit together is that fact that this is using a normal blend mode, which is horrible. And why would I ever want to do that? There, that helps a lot. Okay, I'm going to move on from this. I mean, their original actually doesn't really look that great either. I mean, it's super quick. It really just needs to kind of do a quick burst into frame. So that's a little better. You know what I want to do, though, is I'm going to make another comp, and then we'll cover another topic, which is like getting these trails as Seth kind of shoots up into the thing.
Yeah.
Whatever that thing is, the scoreboard. And this is where we're talking about how there's like a gajillion ways to do this. And I don't have my camera pointing upward, but we'll just kind of go with that for now. I can angle it down just a little bit, or not angle it down, angle it up. There's my, I'm sure these are this is an amazing looking camera move with the linear keyframes and all. I just want it to kind of get a little bit of that up angle there. So we're talking about like different ways of trails coming off of things. And how about I make my screen a little bit bigger? I think a really good way in a situation like this, where's my reference? As we look at this, there's trails coming off of very like specific parts. Looks like they're like kind of coming off of the I don't know where that one's coming off of there, but like off of mostly the feet and the hands, and then one kind of around the midsection, I guess. So
Very
a good
nice
way to
put that, Harry.
I'll make a separate section here for streaks, and we'll kind of talk about this. Streaks. So what the way I would do this is, being that I've got this item in motion, is I would use light emitters for this. And I'm going to set a couple of lights here. And you've got to name them emitter. We'll call this emitter 1. And I'm going to make this a spotlight. And when I'm using lights for emitters, I'm a big fan of turning off the auto orientation, which is kind of a muscle memory thing for me. What the heck is it? Shift, Command, no, that's opacity. Shift, Option. God, what is it? I'm like, oh yeah, I totally know it. Where is it? It's under the layer too. It's under Transform. Oh, it's R, not O. Shift, Command. Shift, Option. Oh, jeez. Okay. It is the point of interest. You want to turn off, or not the point of interest. You want to disable the point of interest. And there's a quick key for that. And for some reason, I'm totally, it's yeah, Shift Command. Oh, I don't know what the big problem is here. You want to turn off or auto orientation. I like doing that because then you just have position and rotation that you're dealing with, and not. Sorry for wasting 30 seconds of your life, but you're never going to get back there watching me fumble for a quick key that I said I knew and that I couldn't find.
If they had been on me, Harry, it would have been an entire 45 minutes that were wasted. My After Effects keeps crashing, and I'm going to show you guys at some point a little bit how far I got, but it's you keep it going because yours is going a lot better than mine.
Whatever. Okay. So I'm gonna let's just parent this. I'm gonna parent you to the Seth jump, and then okay, cool. Another cool tip here. You all showed up for a reason. Where's my alpha channel? Right. So there's that conundrum, right? It's like, well, I want some lights. Whoops. But the second I add lights with 3D layers, well, they're 3D layers and they respond to the lights. So there's actually a couple different options here. So I'm just duplicating these, putting them where I think they should go. And we'll have some trails coming off of these. The easy thing to do is just to go to your 3D layer in After Effects and just disable lights. I think it's you tap AA, and then you can say accept lights off. Well, I'm showing the alpha channel, so you're never going to actually see accept shadows, accept lights off. Okay. Wait, I think I have it. Oh, I have it. I'm sorry. I have a layer called streaks. That actually looks kind of cool.
That's my new profile picture right there.
Right there. That is cool. Except, okay, that was weird.
In
Except
silhouette
lights
against an arrow, inexplicably. I don't even know what it represents.
It represents upvotes for every Reddit post you make. It represents likes on Facebook. It represents likes on Instagram.
Oh, you know what?
It represents what you bring to everyone's production when they hire you.
Draft 3D was the issue I was having. So disabling lights right there so you can have it accept them. But what if you want lights? What if I wanted to use some lighting on this? Another thing you can do, you could select your lights. And I don't know if everybody ever noticed this, that lights have an adjustment layer switch on them. So if I don't want my lights to illuminate Seth, I can change them to adjustment layer lights, or adjustment lights, I guess they would just be called, and move it below the layer that I don't want to illuminate. That's another cool option there. Pro tip, do you have a pro tip thing there? No, I
Pro
guess you
tip.
just have dad joke.
This. I just go like this.
Pro tip. Remember your hotkeys before you go live on YouTube.
Yes.
So we're gonna.
Well, no. Do you know what happened with Hashi last week with hotkeys? He set hotkeys within Streamlabs to trigger like random drops, like Schwarzenegger saying "freeze," and didn't realize those hotkeys were the same hotkeys as common hotkeys he used in After Effects. So while doing After Effects, Schwarzenegger would randomly pop into frame.
I saw that. I thought it was just a reference I wasn't getting. Like somebody said something.
Yeah, no.
You know.
It was, and we didn't notice half the times it happened.
Okay, I'm going to turn off the other particle layer just because we're in a pre-compositing mess right now. There we go. So we're just going to work on those streaks, and then we'll go to, I guess I called these both streaks, so I should get more creative with my naming. So we'll go into particular, we'll apply shine because there's no reason to. Okay, so then now I can set this to an emitter, a light emitter. So it's going to use the lights. Okay, good thing to know is it defaults to a size of 500, which I don't think it should do that, but it does anyway. So even though you've got your light position here, it's going to emit particles in an area of 500 pixels around the light. So I don't want that. In fact, I probably don't want any velocity because this is actually moving, so it's just going to create a trail of motion, right? So as I move, there it goes. Yeah, see? Ooh, look at that. And I'm using my temp camera, right? So I have a more interesting camera move if I turn on. It starts down here. Okay, and then we just make our particles look interesting. So, well, let's queue up to a frame where I actually see some particles. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Now if I jump to the designer, this should still just show me a, oh, look at that. It even shows the motion path. Wow, look at that. So we will make these, I don't know, they're kind of that hot pink kind of, where's a good one here? We'll use that. Particles over life, and then probably want some more. And we'll have this scale down over their life, so they kind of, and then, yeah, and then add, I would say, a little bit of air turbulence, which is some nice stuff to just kind of push them around. Looks a lot more interesting than just using the fast physics, displacement. There we go.
Yeah.
So have you just given up, Seth?
That's so cool.
You're like.
No, I've given up.
Is your comp gone?
I've given up on moving. Whenever I change frames, it looks terrible. Whoa, that's not even the right. Oh, I'll come back. I'll show you what I've got, but it's showing the wrong frame. Go ahead. Okay. Keep talking. I got stuff to show.
Okay. All right. Oh my God, I got all these lights. In fact, I think I could just turn these. They don't need to be on.
So here we go. There. I think I've got it now.
Oh, hey, I do want to... Oh, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Seth.
No, I'm saying this is as far as I got, and After Effects keeps crashing whenever I would play it in motion. And it's probably because of the thousands of layers things that I have going on that could be easily simplified. This is my experimentation process, is to try all the worst possible things, get it looking really good, break my computer, and then start over from scratch, now knowing like like thinking through what were the simpler ways to do the things that I did. And so that's what I would do next, but we don't have time for that on the live show.
That's the tricky thing. You know, as I've been watching this show over the last few weeks, it's much more difficult, I think, than it looks. Hashi does such a great job with this, to both do stuff live, talk while you do it, and do it in such a way that you're imparting information informatively to people, right? Because I got into that, like, what the hell are you doing, Harry? Like,
yeah.
So and then thinking and then doing it quickly. So like getting all this stuff done, making it not look terrible, trying to get what you would do in maybe a full day and try to make it look, usable in an hour or 90 minutes or so. It's tough to do. So it looks like there's a little bit of there's like a little fractal noisy kind of thing here. Maybe I can just throw some schmutz in here to kind of blend things together as we try to kind of wrap this up. Oh yeah, there's like some little rings that kind of pop on as he shoots upward. And then the trailing particles are just kind of there. So let's I kind of feel like I've got all these cameras, none of them are very good. So I'm just going to lock down my camera and just be upfront with the fact that we're not going to get a decent camera move right now. That's going to be the thing I don't worry about. I'm just going to set the camera in a position that we can see everything. Zoom back in time. Do we zoom in time? We don't really zoom in time. We just kind of move back in time. I turned off that layer.
In time, we now owe some money to Huey Lewis. What?
Okay.
Who did that?
I am not entirely happy with
the way I sang that song. I know, neither.
With how you sing. But
if only we had a chance to hear Hashi sing sometime, then we'd really know.
If only,
especially
there was something coming with Hashi's singing voice in it.
Like an 80s hit,
to prove that Hashi does everything better than us. Every single thing.
Hey, you feel good about yourself? Are you feeling better about your skills? Then, yeah, Hashi's here to make you feel terrible.
How close are we? What do you think? We've got, it's about 1:43.
Mm-hmm.
How you feeling?
I was just going to throw a little bit of glow fractal noise to just kind of make this feel a little bit comped together, and turning off the layers that I don't think look very good right now. So that was my approach here. Right,
Harry, could I suggest, if you have a little bit of time, just putting a few lights up there with lux on them to simulate the volumetric lighting they have in the shot.
Oh yeah, I was totally gonna. I remember looking at this, like, we can we'll do that, and I'll get these layers here.
Because I think lux is underused these days.
Lux is great. Yeah. Okay. Oh God. Yeah. You guys are never gonna invite me back.
What? Yes, we are.
We'll do a little bit of lux, trap code lux. Not flux. Flux is the original name of form.
Oh, really?
Hashtag trivia. Trap code flux, yeah, and then it got changed.
Flux, Flux.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good.
What did you think I said? No,
Lux?
Well, that sounds too much.
No, I didn't think you said what you think I think you said. I thought you said lux, and I was like, that doesn't make sense whatsoever. But no, the trap code, the other thing, that's a different tool altogether.
Trap code. Okay.
That's an exclamation you make about how great trap code is.
What the lux? Okay, point you down. I did type negative, I just didn't get it in there. Trust me. Okay, and then we'll put you off frame.
fall off's pretty sharp.
Yeah, but I noticed there's oh yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I can totally what I was going to do is I noticed that up here there was actually a ring of lights. And I don't remember how. I think there's like an odd number, like 7 or something. It's like, why did they use a heptagon? But my cool idea, which I'll just talk about real quick, is going to just start with a shape layer, right? We can just do a polygon, and then do nulls to, or points, you know, like a shape to nulls, and then just take those points, put those in, or take the nulls, make them 3D, and then just attach the lights to that. So then you'd have like a nice little perfect heptagon or whatever you want, but I don't think we have time to do that. So we'll just put the one light in here. Why is this being cropped like so? Oh, I think the throw of the light. Yeah, the reach.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I just like that look so much.
Yeah, it's great.
It does help. Yeah, it really ties it all together like a nice rug.
Ooh, this needs a rug.
You know,
Tie
we
the
don't
shot
necessarily
together.
need a rug, but we do need an episode title. And I don't think Eat Your Cheese Curds and Be Happy is going to cut it. So if the chat has some suggestions for episode titles, I'd be appreciative.
Eat your cheese curds and be happy. What's wrong with that? Oh, I had to turn this back on. Totally incomplete particle nonsense. Why? Oh, you know why? Why? Because I added another light. That's why I can't see
Is
Seth.
there a title opportunity in my incredibly knowledgeable basketball trivia knowledge base of words too? I'm really good with words. Did I say something dumb earlier is what I'm trying to say, that we could turn into a title about basketball? That silence means yes. We're all thinking about it. And you have to guess, Worley.
Yeah. I think a lot of what's going on here, you know, like as much as we can throw particle stuff on here, like honestly, never underestimate the power of the circle effect. Really, like I'm just going to throw a circle here, and actually let's just back it up.
I
here.
have never used the circle effect.
You've
Not
never
once.
used circle? Oh my god,
No.
circle is like everything.
Oh, I use circle all the time. Come on, it's so handy.
Wow.
I use it to mat stuff out.
For just
it's
like
got
this,
yeah. It's got a stencil
mat stuff
mode. Yeah, it's so
out, or
handy.
you just want to like, yeah, it has stencil, or you just want a little glow orb like this.
Hang on. There's a plugin in After Effects called Circle that just makes a circle with a...
Yeah. Table flip.
Yeah, the whole table just gone. God, this is ridiculous. I'm going to start buying tables just to keep on hand for this show, just right off screen. So I'll just, and then,
I do
It's
wish
circle,
circle
beam.
had an aspect control, because sometimes I don't. Well, it's a circle, I guess. Circle
I've been drawing
doesn't have an
masks and
aspect.
anchoring points and centers for the last 20 years of my life, or however long it's been, 10 years.
No, circle is great because then you also you've got like thickness, or you've got edge thickness, so you can make like rings and all kinds of stuff. We could do a whole episode on. So yeah, Lux, some circle, and gosh, I wish this was looking a little bit better, but we only have so much
Hey, that's
time.
the theme of our show.
And then I'll just do a little. Oh, you know what? Hold on. One last thing. Particle business, right? If I can find this preset, because I was like, well, we need a little bit of noisy, like Star Trek beam kind of effect. And I
Yeah,
want
like
to
a beam.
say
Beam.
a beam. We haven't used a single instance of beam. There is a circle plugin, yes. Okay, go to designer, and then see if I can remember where this preset is. There's actually a sprite that is just some like kind of soft fractal noise, and it is applied to, here it is, this one called Northern Lights.
Oh yeah.
So if we kind of squeeze this together, zusammen, and
I see what you're trying
out
to do.
like that, yeah. And then then we could just apply this. We could just actually do this in a burst, right? So set this to explode and make a lot more of them.
Crank up those particles per second.
Yeah. And then it'll be just kind of temporary while there. Like that. Me using the presets in a practical way. Oh, and whoops, now lighten screen. Actually, lighten.
Lighten didn't look bad.
Harry, the
Lighten
chat
didn't look-
really wants you to use fractal noise in a cylinder for the beam, but the problem with that I think they're unaware of is that it doesn't have the depth and volume that this particular preset you're using has, because you would see the fractal wrapping around the cylinder, whereas this is actually nice and full.
That's not mirror. I mean, mirror would be good too, and we could actually apply fractal noise directly to the cylinder itself. Like you can wrap the plane around. You end up with that seam in the back though, so you have to kind of mat that out with maybe visibility or whatever. But this, this was just like really like I guess the point is to never underestimate the power of a 2D effect, because looking at this, there's a lot of like you said, volumetric stuff and just glowy things that are in this initial moment right here. Like this is really just kind of like fractal noisy stuff, and there's like really like you can just see this kind of elliptical orb over everything. I wish I did better with those little shockwave things, but thanks for sniffling.
Sorry.
All right.
My mic's
so
on.
Is this
God? I'm the worst host this week, Hashi. I mean, Harry. I'm gonna be the one who's not asked back to this show.
Well, you're already on the mug, so
I'm looking at the. They can scratch that off very easily.
Yeah, well, just a couple letters I could change it. Harry.
That beam actually looks pretty cool. Can we watch this in motion? What happens to it?
Oh God, we don't want to see that just yet. I mean, there's lots of things that are roughly there and kind of in place. We need to fine tune the timing and get the camera moved back in. Like, I think we're starting to get the elements there to start to count together. Where are you?
Well, I think the point of this is this is a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of layers to make something like this, and there's a lot of moving parts in each of these, and I think hopefully we've learned a little bit of a few ways that one could get started making something like this.
Oh, I'm looking at the left. Okay, there we go.
And we learned what I look like when leaping. I think if you had a full day to do this, dude, it would look fantastic. Which is why I'd like it on my desk by the end of the day.
Yeah, this is totally achievable in a day. Like the burst and the rings and all the other motion graphic-y elements. This probably could have gone. I mean, this could easily go into a second episode. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to be like, here's this. It's like the Julia Child, right? Like, here's how we show you how to make the lamb, and then we pull out
and then we
finished
abandon
lamb.
you.
And then we abandon you and say, if you do all that, hopefully you'll end up with a really nice looking lamb.
Oh, I do want to make sure that we do a slight correction for the stream. Disney artists were not involved because this Space Jam is not a Disney movie.
Ooh,
it is a Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers movie.
Very much Warner Brothers.
And
WB.
it did release today on HBO Max and in theaters. If your area of the world is COVID friendly for going to movie theaters, you can go watch it there.
Absolutely.
WB. Yeah, they're in. Yeah, I know. Burbanks through there.
We've not seen it. We're not being sponsored by HBO Max. So if you hate it, it's not our fault. We didn't do it. We clearly don't know how to do it within an hour. We know how to do it. You know, if you give us a few extra people and a lot of time, we can make it happen.
Can't even do it in an hour. Yeah, I forgot that. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No,
make that.
Oh my gosh,
underserve.
You didn't underserve. You look at how cool that looks, and you got us on the track. You got us on the path toward doing this. By the way, Harry, the way you feel right now is the way Hashi and I feel every week at the end of a VFX and Chill episode. But I do want to thank you in front of God and everyone here for coming on this show and trying all this stuff live in front of people. This was a blast, dude, having you here.
It was fun. Yeah.
Neither of us were able to get to a finished comp. That's okay. That was part of the pitch for this show originally. So I am excited by the starting points that we put in here, and I hope that people
to fail in front of dozens of people.
Yes, I hope other people are able to do that. No, I hope other people are able to to open up particular and mess around and make something cool that we were attempting to make. And if you can do it, show it to us for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting to try to show some of these components, like the little touch points that I have in particular of like these sprites or the presets in terms of either using the preset, and modifying it, or some of the like the basics, right? That little explosion basic can be a helpful starting point. And it's interesting for me to kind of dive into the front side of it instead of the back end of it, like making the things that go into it and try to dive back in and make stuff. So it's interesting for me to try to do stuff like this.
Yeah.
And then
not because Harry did anything wrong this week. We're not. I don't want anyone to read into that. We're very excited to have the next guest, but we're very happy that Harry came on this week as well. Thank you, Harry, so much for your time and for trying something extremely difficult this week.
Always willing to fail in front of people.